Hey there, today I'm going to be going over how you can contribute to openmath. So let's say you're on openmath, you're browsing. Of course, openmath isn't fully complete, of course, so there's going to be gaps and things that aren't perfect, which you have probably noticed. Let's say you're perusing division, and you notice, okay, so we have the definition of a prime number. But we don't have the definition of what a composite number is. And a composite number is a number that has like divisors other than 1 in itself. So for example, like 6 has divisors 2 and 3. And so therefore it's a composite number. So you want to add this in, but you're unsure of how to do it. So this video will hopefully help you come to grips with how to edit openmath. So openmath tries to describe everything on the site itself, but of course a video is also useful to have. So what we'll do is we'll go to the source code of openmath. You'll notice that this is on github.com, and the first thing you're going to want to do is to create a GitHub account. I'm sure at the top here it will show you a button for registering, so go ahead and register on github.com. And once you've completed that, you should see a page similar to what I have here. So you can't edit this directly. If anyone was able to edit it directly, then chaos would probably ensue. Like without reviewing people's work, people could like delete sections of the site and whatnot. So to keep that under control, what we use is this idea of forking. So let's go ahead and fork this repository. Everything looks fine, default is fine. So what we've just done here is we've pretty much made a version of the site under our ownership, which we can edit ourselves. So we can change how this version of the site looks, but it won't change the main site. Eventually we can change the main site, but we'll get to that process a bit later on. So now we have this fork. The easiest way to start editing it would be to click this green button. There's 2 tabs. Click on the code spaces tab and create a code space. A code space is pretty much just a simple way for anyone to start editing the repository in your browser. So as this starts up, you'll see on the left we have some folders. The main folder we'll be working in is the HTML folder, which contains all of the mathematical text. And what we'll do is we'll start a web server. And what a web server is it's kind of, these are just files. We don't have like a preview of how it's going to look. So what a web server does is it allows us to see that preview. So what we'll do is we will type cd for change directory into the HTML directory. So now we're kind of sitting inside of here in our terminal. And we'll type python-m http.server. And that starts up our web server. After a few seconds, you'll notice that a little pop-up has appeared, and click on that green Open in Browser button. So once this loads up, we'll see that we have a website that looks identical to openmath, but it's not on openmath.net, so clearly this isn't the same thing. If we go to the index.html, which is the web page that's automatically loaded when the website starts up, and we put a change here, you'll notice that that change upon reload should be active on the site. So we can actually change how the site looks. So we were talking about a composite number, and that was in our number theory, and then it was in the division file. And so going back to that, into the division file, let's think about where we would want to place our definition of composite. For the sake of this video, I'll put it above prime. There's probably a better ordering we could have here. Of course, openmath is always improving, so if you feel it should be anywhere else, feel free to change that. So I'll find the definition of prime in this file using Control F. I found it here, and if I want to make a definition, it seems like I should probably just do something similar to prime number, so I'll copy that. I'll paste it here. The first thing is we'll change the title to be a composite number. And I'll make the content to be a number, I guess, and in the naturals, which are positive, is said to be composite when it has a divisor other than one and itself. Notice there's a bit more that needs to be said here. Obviously, -1 would divide any number, so we're probably talking about positive divisors. Okay, so we have this done here, and the ID, we're going to want to make that be composite number, and notice I am using lowercase and I'm using hyphens instead of spaces. So yeah, let's reload the page and see if that loads up here. Yeah, so we have a composite number. So we want to link to what a divisor is, because potentially the person reading this may not know. Now the way we could do this is find where divisor is. It resides in this file, so it's not too complicated to get to. And now let's make a link to it. So kind of the fundamental thing on openmath is having these links, which when clicked, they open inline the definition, which allows readers to kind of bypass the traditional method of having to go and find it yourself, which should speed up learning. So let's see how we could do that for this case. So we want to link in the divisor. So the way we start making a link like this is we create an anchor tag, which is an HTML tag which allows you to make a link usually. So if we type A and then press tab, it automatically creates it. We're going to also give this a class, and what a class does is it kind of gives it some custom behavior, and we can learn about that later. So the class will be knowledge link, which we can tab complete. Now for the href, we want to link to this file. So we start by typing, looks like I missed a quotation there. We start by typing number 3, and then the file, which is division.html. Then we use ampersand, and then we use definition divides. Okay, so with that in place, we have the link. Now let's place the text we want linking there between the tags. So divisor, delete the extra space, and on reload, we should notice that we should have some red text here on divisor, and on click, it should allow us to expand and retract the definition. Great. Okay, so I'd say this is pretty good for now. I don't see any typos. Of course, there may be some, but I don't notice any at the moment, so I'm happy with this. So the next step is getting this change onto the live site. So our next step is to click this little source control button here on the side pane, and in the division.html file, or here we can kind of just click this plus, and what that means is like, okay, I'm ready to make this change. I'm ready to commit this change, and we'll talk about what a commit is in a sec here. So once we have our changes staged, we'll write a little message describing what we've done. So we'll say add definition of composite of a composite number, and committing this kind of means I'm taking this message and I'm combining it with the changes I've made thus far and packaging it into a little piece of information. So we'll commit this, and so now we want to push this to our fork, so we'll click sync changes. Okay, that seems fine to me. Okay, great. So we can click. So what this does is it allows us to get changes if there are any on the main branch. So we'll just accept that. Okay, so we've made this commit. Now we want to get this onto the real openmath website, because this change, if we go back here and we refresh, you'll notice that this change is on our version of openmath. But if we were to go back to the main version of openmath here, you can see it's not there. So how do we go from here to the real site? Well, the way we do that is by using a pull request, and you should notice we're one commit ahead, so we've added one more thing that the main version of the site doesn't have. So if we click contribute here, it'll ask us to open a pull request. We'll click OK on that. We've added the definition of a composite number. We don't need any more details. It's a pretty simple change. If there was more complexity, obviously, comment would be nice, but let's click create pull request here. And yeah, so now you can see we're back at the original openmath site, and there's a pull request. Now what we do is now we simply just wait for someone on the openmath team to review the changes we've made, and if they think it's all good, they'll merge this and our changes will be live on the site. So once you've gotten to this point in time, just sit back and relax. Maybe check your GitHub or send a message on the Discord saying, you know, I've made a change, can anyone check if it's all good? And yeah, if it's all good, someone will merge it in and it'll be live on the site. So that's a quick overview on how you can contribute to openmath, and I hope you enjoyed learning about it.